got my coffee, a little nice little latte. Just pulled up to the office. Just wanted to talk about how much life has changed recently, and you know how unreal it is. How I guess I should just tell you guys the story. I thought I was going to be a doctor one day, believe it or not. Back in high school, I'd say, what was this? I graduated in 2020, so I got in high school at 2016. So in 2016, I would always be around my aunt, and she had a bunch of doctor friends and dentist friends, and everybody was in the medical field, and I even had a friend, and I would be around him, and a bunch of his family members were in the medical field. And so I kind of saw the glamour in it until I didn't see it anymore. I would go to hospitals, I would shadow people, I would hear about these crazy stories of, people dying in people's hands. And even though, a lot of doctors and nurses, they go into the medical field to help people, I didn't think that I would be the best at helping people in the medical field, to be frank. So about halfway through high school, I kind of fell more in love with entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a way for you to help people without seeing people die, hopefully, depending on what field you're in. And there's creative ways to help people. You can, the world is your oyster when you're an entrepreneur. The last 2 years of high school, my grades kind of tanked. I wasn't an A student anymore. I didn't have this passion to become a medical professional. I started to despise the education system a little bit. Did I have a problem with my actual high school? No. I went to a really nice high school. The teachers were lovely. It was a Catholic high school. There was a lot of love there. There was a lot of, I learned a lot, and I met a lot of great people. It was an awesome experience. The campus was nice. I really enjoyed the classes. It's just the education system, I felt like, kind of failed me. The last 2 years of high school, I went around telling everybody. Now, keep in mind, this is a Catholic prep high school where everybody is above average. Like we're doubling up on science classes. I remember one of the years I did chemistry and biology in the same year. Another one of the years I did calculus and geometry in the same year. So it was a very competitive school when it comes to education and prep. And so the first 2 years I was going around telling people, yeah, I'm studying really hard. I'm going to go to college, medical school, and get my doctorate, my PhD. And then the last 2 years of high school, I was going around telling people school is a scam, don't go to college. Now that I look back, I don't know why I thought it was okay to tell people school is a scam. Everybody has their own path. I think school is great depending on what field you go into, but it wasn't for me. And I always used to excel in school as well. The thing was, at the end of those 2 years, I got accepted into 3 respectable colleges. I didn't have to move out of state for them. I could have easily attended classes. Instead of doing that, I went ahead and tried and tasted, different things, right? I tried to sell these underwears called Ethicas and PhDs. These are, if you don't know what these are, I'll put them up on the screen right here. Made a lot of money doing that. Tried, doing DoorDash. I was a pizza driver for like 2 years. It was only fun because I knew that I was going to take it somewhere. Most people in the pizzeria that are, driving pizzas around are actually making the pizza. They're in their 40s, 50s, 60s. They feel like it's over. And so I was an 18, 19, 20-year-old delivering pizza. I got to listen to whatever music I would want to listen to, while driving around. I pretty much was like kind of on my own schedule, even though it was a job. And I wasn't really capped on how much I made, because of tips. After the pizzeria incident, I quit. I rather do DoorDash because, you kind of choose your own hours, but then I was always behind on being able to pay for my stuff. And I still lived with my dad. So for everybody who's a DoorDash driver and has, all these bills to pay, my heart goes out to you guys. That it's a really tough job. It's not easy to make ends meet with DoorDash or Uber Eats. Shortly after that, that's when I partnered up with somebody that I was good friends with in high school. We made a lot of money with those Ethicas and PhDs I told you about. They look like this. There was a point where we were making, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month, reinvesting all of the profits and just scaling. And a lot of people, they hear scale and they think of online businesses or a marketing agency or anything besides brick and mortar. We were scaling a brick and mortar business. We would set up stands where we would sell these products. We had people working for us. It was a machine that we were growing. Somewhere along the lines, we thought it was okay to sell flour that, that's not legal. Without a dispensary, without all the licenses, selling flour, that's not legal. And so we went ahead and did that for about a year or so. Made a lot of money doing that, and then lost it all when I got locked up. That's my mugshot. Roll the clip.
A huge drug bust in Blaine County today as a canine and his handler intercept a cross-country delivery of 150 pounds of marijuana.
Canine Neo starting off his work week like a champ. Monday morning motivation for the Blaine County Sheriff's Office as Neo ended a cross-country drug drop going from Los Angeles to Pennsylvania. This explains that the two suspects, Isael Jimenez and Zachary Zaawi, were parked at a Watanga gas station. At 1:30 a.m., a deputy was doing a welfare check on the men and smelled a strong odor of marijuana coming from the truck. When they opened up the back of the truck, they found more than 150 pounds of marijuana hidden among couches and moving boxes. In total, deputies estimate Canine Neo helped them bust about $180,000 of illegal drugs. The suspects are sitting in the Blaine County Jail facing charges for drug trafficking.
Yeah, so I sat in a cell for about 5 weeks. In the moment, I was losing it all. I lost all of my savings, paying for lawyers, bail. I had to borrow money to get out. I lost, a lot of product from it being seized by the law enforcement. In jail, I sat there, and as every day went by and the longer it took to, get bailed out and go through the court process of, being tried and investigated, every day it just crippled me more and more. It was the first time I heard my dad cry, over the phone. It was like the first time I think in my entire life that he cried. A bunch of other stuff happened. People were looking for me, wondering where am I, when am I going to get out? And Oklahoma, they drugged me through this 4 or 5 week process just to get out of the cell. And it was another 2-year process just to go through the court process of going back and forth. And when I got out of jail, I was in debt. And there was a good friend we were in the same field. He was also in solar. Funny enough, as soon as I came out, he showed me his portal, and he's like, look, dude, I made $20,000 last week. You got to try this. You would be great at it. We started going out there. He kind of didn't show me everything I needed to know. He was just like, dude, you got to see it with your own eyes. We went out there, tried to learn from him, failed miserably. I went 7 months not getting paid a single penny. I blame that partially on the installer I was with, the training I was getting, all of those things. I do take accountability, though, for the person I decided to follow. I do take accountability for staying at a bad installer for so long because I knew there was something wrong with them. I learned a lot in my first 7 months. I learned a lot. I was supposed to make more than what I made. I made absolutely zero, but I did learn a lot. So, fast forward, after those 7 months of pain and agony, I remember specifically one day, we were in the office. I used to work for Centuity Solar. They went out of business now, but I hadn't gotten any sales for like 2 months while I was there. So I was at this bad installer for like 4 or 5 months. Then I was at Centuity for like 2 or 3 months before making my first check. And I remember on this Friday meeting, I felt like an energy of like, I feel like I'm gonna get fired soon. Like I'm being treated like, it's kind of weird. Like I wasn't being treated disrespectfully or anything or unfairly. It was just like this, like I felt this energy of like, why is this kid here? And I felt the same thing. Why am I here? Am I here to joke around, call myself the Solar Jesus, play games, not actually sell? When is this going to end? When am I going to stop playing games? That Friday after the meeting, I said, I'm going to get a same day today. I will get a same day today. It's happened. It's already happened in my mind. And I went out there, and there was a door that I had knocked the day before. There was no appointment. I actually had his phone number, and I texted him. He had blue messages. It was an iPhone, but the message didn't deliver for some reason. So I thought he blocked me. I went to his house, knocked on his door. He happened to be home. He had a full-time job. He happened to just be home at that moment. He's like, oh, Zach, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you text me? And I'm like, Terry, it wasn't going through. Like, I was trying to get in touch. Do you have a moment right now? And I remember I had smoked a blunt on the way to his house. I smelled like Bob Marley. It was terrible. I don't do that anymore. I haven't smoked in like 12 days now, so that's a win. But I get to his house, his wife isn't there. I start presenting to him. He failed credit on Sonova, like somehow, even though he had like 800 credit score. His wife got home. She instantly was like, who the heck is this guy? Why? Like, who are you? I calmed her down. Before you know it, we're signing good leap docs. Installed about 6 weeks later. That was my first $7,000. And when I got that first check, I knew the money was real. I saw other people making it. I saw the lifestyle that, you know, my colleagues were living, and I knew it was real. But when I received that check, it was so unreal. In the moment, it was just like, whoa, this is dangerous. I don't have a college degree. I'm now considered technically a criminal up until this case is finished and I can get everything, you know, pardoned. I'm technically a criminal. I can't leave the country. I can't even leave the state without getting in trouble. That was a big tipping point for me. After the 7 months of no money, after I got that first check, the next 5 months I made 90 grand. That's about 18,000 a month for, you know, 5 months in a row. And that was back in 2023. Fast forward to 2024, I made $380,000. Was with 3 different installers. I'm not going to say the names of all these installers that, you know, put me in a worse position, but it's definitely a real thing. Watch your back in this industry. It's cutthroat. It's kind of like the rap industry. It's kind of like Hollywood. Everybody acts fake. There's a lot of money involved. And if you're not watching your back, if you don't have anybody looking out for you, you can get fucked tremendously. I remember leaving the last installer, Wolf of Solar, Real So's Dynamics, they were promoting a blitz, and I remember in the video he said, if you're at an installer that isn't paying on time, their operations suck, there's no training, there's not really any competition, it just sucks. Fill out the form, come out and blitz with us. And I remember I arm wrestled. I wrestled with my, not physically, but, mentally, argued, struggled to get approval from my managers at the time because I was an assistant district manager, but I was probably the brokest ADM in the nation. I wasn't getting paid. I had to get advances from the company because they sucked so bad, and that's how I was paying my bills. I felt like I was dying inside. I felt trapped. I felt like there's no way this is the way. Went down on this blitz. My belief system was all messed up, but I remember when me and Isael, he's been in a few of my videos, when me and him drove down there on the way, I was like, dude, we're gonna make a name for ourselves. Actually, I was telling my manager at the time before I went down, and he told me, no, don't do it. You're gonna lose your pipeline. You're gonna lose your management position. It's gonna look really bad. For some reason, my gut instinct told me, just go and take this risk. Take the risk. Just do it. So we drove down there. Again, I wasn't getting paid on time. I was getting screwed. I had maybe like $1,000 or $2,000 to my name. Isael, I don't remember how much he had, but I remember it was like in the hundreds. So we were taking a huge risk by going down there. We took his car because my car had gotten repoed at the time. I was kind of like the one paying for the gas and like some of our food. And I remember on the way down there, I was like, dude, even if I don't make $100,000 on this blitz, I want to make a name for us. I want to make a name for Jersey, Philadelphia. Philadelphia is so unheard. It's such a well-known city, but so misunderstood at the same time. I want to make a name for us. And that's exactly what we did. Sold 6 deals, first blitz, in a 10-day period. 1 was a DQ, 2 canceled, 3 went to install. Came back from Florida, and my manager at the time, still my manager actually, took us out to dinner, me and a few of the other managers, and he said, hey, we're going to leave this installer, we're going to leave everything behind. We found a new installer. Let's make the jump. And so that's what we did. We made a jump. This new installer, they had great reviews, great operations, they had a no credit option. It was amazing. Now keep in mind, when I went down to Florida the first time, I told him, I'm going to bring back training, material. I'm going to bring back a lot more tactics to grow our team, to do better trainings, to just blow up, make our team much better than ever before. But the way it happened wasn't the way I said it would happen. When we moved over to EMT Solar, where we have the no credit option, the installs are amazing. The operations teams, our sales teams that we get to work with and grow, it's been amazing. I still went down to the second Florida blitz after that. I didn't have a reason to leave Jersey besides just hitting a blitz. This time I sold 9. Out of the 9, 7 went to install. The 2 that didn't go to install weren't my leads. So out of the 9 deals I sold, 7 of them were self-gen and 7 of them went to install. I made 68 grand on that blitz. Unfortunately, that installer had an issue with Sonova, didn't pay me out the last amount of money, but this is what I made with that installer just from that blitz. I told people about this no credit option, and before you know it, people were like kind of begging to come up. And when I say begging, I mean like I wasn't trying to promote this my market. I actually thought it was too soon to promote my market. I thought there's so much meat on the bone. Why would I want to give up all this money to random people from out of state? And so we brought up a few people. I had gotten close with a few of these guys, and I felt like, hey, what's the worst that can happen? They're just going to make some money. If they don't like it, they'll just go home. Brought up like 4 or 5 guys, started making some money. They started telling everybody else. Before you know it, we're organizing a blitz. First blitz, we did 30 sales. Second blitz, we did 41, 42 sales. Third blitz, we did another 40 sales, and then it was the fourth blitz that went really crazy. I believe it was in October. Fourth blitz, we did 110 sales. It was unreal. Unreal. Bunch of people made money. Keep in mind, some of these people weren't making money in Florida. They weren't making money in their market, whether it was Florida or other states that people were coming from, you know, New York, Massachusetts, whatever. They weren't making money. This was the first time they got a taste of it. It felt amazing. 2024, I made just shy of 380 grand. My goal was $1 million, so I wasn't proud of 380 grand, but the background I come from, the family I come from, you know, the poverty I came from, the underdog story that I have where people like me just don't make it out. Seeing my almost $380,000 in income in 1 year, when I live in a neighborhood where people are still struggling, I have a friend group of people that are still kind of like stuck behind. It was fulfilling. It was amazing. I sit here to tell you guys this story because I just really hope this story can impact literally just one person's life. If this can impact one person's life, I'm talking to you right there on the other side. There's something that you have fear on, something scaring you, and you may or may not know what it is. And I want you to know that the worst that can happen is definitely not as bad as you think. I thought I was going to lose my pipeline. I thought I was going to get fired from ADM. I thought like a lot of all these terrible things were going to happen. I thought I was going to waste my time in Florida. It has paid me back tenfold. If I would have stayed up there and never went down on that blitz, I honestly don't know where I would be right now. For that one person out there, if there's something you need or want to do, and I say need because it's probably something you need to do, but you just have a bunch of fear. You have a bunch of doubts. You have a bunch of limiting beliefs. Keep in mind, it took me 3 or 4 days of internal mental battles to make that decision to just go down there. I don't know what made me care so deeply about making that decision. I don't know what was holding me back, what made it such a hard decision, but it was hard, and I had a lot of fear. So drop the fear, go do what you want to do, go do what you need to do. And even if you still have fear doing it, just know fear is a good feeling. That means you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and stepping out of your comfort zone is the only way for you to hit growth. The only way for you to hit growth is getting outside of that comfort circle. If you stayed till the end, I appreciate you listening to me. If you want more content like this, subscribe, don't subscribe, like, dislike, comment, don't comment, share it, don't share it. I don't care. I'm just posting content really for my past self. I really wish there would have been somebody putting out this type of content for me when I first started out. And it was so rare to find this niche specific content. So I hope you guys are enjoying the content. I hope you guys are learning most importantly. I hope you're getting an ROI on the time that you're spending on my content. Have a great day.